someone if you don't know if it's okay with it.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm in the authority to, I don't have the authority to do that.
But they could keep living just the way they are.
Yeah.
Even if the zoning changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taxes won't change. And nothing
Did
will
he talk,
change.
did you talk to him at all, or they just never called you back?
Actually, I did. It was a couple who showed up at one of the meetings that we had, one at Coffee Traders,
Yeah.
the hall right behind it, and, specifically asked if they wanted any changes, and basically they didn't want to participate, I guess is what I heard.
Didn't they have that changed to 2.5 on their own?
Yes, exactly, that's right. They said that they went through a zone change process to get 2.5 some time ago.
Oh, I see.
So, anyway,
Is the setback the same in both those commercial districts from residential right now, Dave? You said it was 20 feet or something.
okay, so when I mentioned 20 feet, so right now, in the overlay district, what's being proposed is that when a commercial district abuts a residential one, so for example, T. Bauer's property abutting Emerald Heights, there's a 20-foot wide buffer that's required, and within that buffer is required to be 50%, essentially, 50% buffer. So it's not going to be like a wall necessarily, although it could be. I mean, the developer could certainly install a wall or some sort of a barrier, to limit trespass or to, lighting or, all these types of things. What's required under the overlay that's being proposed is essentially significant vegetation, 50%,
50% vegetation?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something you're thinking you could maybe talk a little bit more about with that, maybe widening that or doing something? I don't know if you guys could come together on that.
We'd love to host
Yeah.
a neighborhood meeting with you guys, and if you wanted to shop the idea around, we'd love to come to these kind of meetings where we're all in agreement.
Howard's a nice guy too.
Yeah,
I mean, if there's some way you could compromise and get that,
we'll get your number.
Why
He's
is
got
it-
property on 2 highways. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what are you gonna?
It's not residential property.
It's
If we could just get it so both
where gas
guys are
stations go.
fairly satisfied, I know it's not gonna be perfect probably, but get a little bit more there. I understand you wouldn't want a gas station right next to your house though, with lights and everything. You want that
If you had a
buffer.
big wall,
Yeah.
you wouldn't see it.
No, that's right. If we can get the buffer in a way that would work.
We're not too keen on the big wall, but Trump is building one in Mexico, so there's enough walls for the moment. But we're willing to certainly discuss it. And, if we had like offices like Dr. Narji's office there, I don't think anyone in our neighborhood would have an issue with it. Just attractive professional office spaces.
Yeah, I understand.
Question, Travis.
Yes.
Now, help me understand this. Your property is half in the inside of the dotted lines here for the newly proposed zoning designation as well as outside of it?
Yes, that was right. It wasn't drawn that way originally. It got split up somehow.
Does that bother you? Or would
Yes,
you
it
like to
bothers
go
me
back?
very much.
You'd like to go back?
I need it full depth.
You want the full
absolutely.
depth,
Yes.
okay.
Just
At least
jog
just on
back
mine.
that little bit.
Yeah.
There are just 3 properties up there, or I guess 4, I'm sorry, that are full depth.
There's 3 of them or 4?
Those 3, well, and the one that's.
Oh, the other one.
Half B2A, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't think that property's for sale right now.
So all 4 of those are split right now, the way it's drawn?
Yes.
Okay.
Where is the bridge?
It's the very small piece of property out front of mine. Yep, that's it. Good point.
Steady hand.
I never have liked those split zones really, that's always been.
Split zoning, if we can avoid
If
it.
you can avoid
I mean,
it.
we have some split zoning right here.
You do have some, it always seems like it causes an issue eventually.
It would be nothing but terrible for me.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, you said you had a 7-acre piece.
Right.
And as long as the B2A was 2 acres, then you could create, you'd have to do a subdivision.
But it's SAG 5 right now in the back.
Yeah.
And that's not 5 acres of property.
Okay. So that is an issue.
Sure. I believe so.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why you want to avoid, one of the reasons why you want to avoid split zone property. And the other is, gosh, I guess you got some commercial and some non-commercial. I want to do commercial. Well, you got to do it on the properties uncommercial. Well, where is that? Well, and then a lot of the old split zone properties have really not very good legal description, so you really don't have any idea.
You know, I have to say, I remember, Jeff, you know, probably do. I remember when we first talked about dealing with this whole thing, and we were told, oh no, you don't want to do that, you're going to open up a can of worms. And you know what? This has actually been very pleasant. And Dave, you've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I just, everybody here, you
Thank you,
know,
Sarah.
this has actually been a pleasure for me.
We're not done yet, Ron.
No, we're not. We're this close. We are so much closer than we were a year ago, aren't we?
Jesus, even 3 months.
Do you need more players on board with this? You need to have more landowners that need to be aware of this? You don't want to broaden it out or anything?
Oh, we're contacting
Everybody knows. Many times.
many times. Everyone's together on it.
Dave?
So can we talk about next steps?
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
is everybody done talking and with their input now? I just want to
For
make
the
sure.
night.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that, what our next steps would be then. Did you have some ideas, Dave, that you wanted to tell us first, or did you want us to?
Well, okay, sure, I might as well lead it off. What I'm hoping to do is to revise, what I'm hoping is that there are two things that come out of this. That there's a plan that's adopted that shows potential road locations, and I'll do a little bit more work on them as well. But a plan that's adopted as well as a zoning amendment. That's my hope. And so, Mark and I will talk about some logistics and things like that, but it sounds like there are a couple things, I mean, there are several items that need to be shorn up. But my hope is that I can get this thing wrapped up here within the next 2-3 weeks, submit it to you, you can schedule a public hearing, and we can go.
That's what I'd like to do. We gotta have another public hearing on it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you could meet with the neighbors, you've got a couple more neighbor meetings to do probably. I think getting those split zones resolved is a good idea.
Yeah.
And I promise I won't talk at the next meeting.
No,
I want you to.
Oh, you're the highlight.
And you got it.
Absolutely.
So,
Mark, did you have?
yeah, just throwing out time. So do you think May, I think it's May 12th, planning board hearing? April, I think, is a little too
Well, you
soon.
could schedule it if something happened, you wanted to pull it.
Yeah.
We can do that, no problem.
I think May would be a realistic,
Okay, why don't we do that?
You already said
Okay.
April's pretty full.
pardon?
You already said April's pretty full.
Yeah,
April
but,
might be a little quick for you, I don't know.
yeah, I think April's
I
a little,
agree.
To give you a little time.
Is the April agenda still kind of wide open?
no, and I forgot to really check it.
Last time you said there were 5 items, so.
Yeah,
Dave, what is the matter with you?
Dave,
nothing, I don't think. Or actually, I should say, I should ask you that.
You want me to tell you?
one thing that I would like to see
Yeah.
as far as a change is in the text amendment, and I talked about it last time, where there's a little bit more resolve that the property owners have to deal with the proposed transportation system, other than it'd be nice to do. Or they may is in the current text, without pulling out and reading it, but, you know, right now, there's no commitment there. And I'm hearing from a bunch of people that are involved here that most of them don't think that that's a bad idea. I'd like to see that text amendment have a little more forceful wording in it, so that if somebody new moves in, there's one property that stops the whole, you know, development of a frontage or a backage road or whatever. That's the one thing that I don't feel comfortable about right now, is that that's a real big hole, you know.
And
Leave it
there's
up
gonna
to-
be some areas that it will work and some that they're not needed.
That's exactly,
Yeah.
but I'd word it somewhat like, you know, consideration by the planning board and the ownership, owners during the development and some wording that, hey, you gotta consider what's going on here and what's best for the whole system, rather than, hey, I bought the property and to hell with all my neighbors.
Yeah, and I don't know how, it'd be difficult to put that in there on a zone change, wouldn't it be, Dave?
Well, the text amendment, I mean, talks to it.
Well, I know.
It'd be in the overlay.
But it's
On the
very,
overlay?
very
In the overlay.
open.
And then as the BSD and the B2A are developed, or conditional uses in the SAG 5 are developed,
You
then
can only do a conditional use though.
either that or,
You couldn't do it on a permitted, I don't think.
yeah, you could.
Good, how could you do it?
Zoning administrator interpretation.
Here we go.
Kidding, Ron, kidding. I mean, because right now, the requirements of the overlay as proposed currently are, new uses in the BSD and the B2A and conditional uses in the SAG 5. So it would be, a requirement, just like any other, conditions of approval in any conditional use permit.
But you couldn't do
You'll
it on a
have to,
permitted use, right?
pardon?
How would you do it on a permitted?
If somebody wanted to build a new house, you could.
Or a business that's in a permitted use, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, you could in both the BSD and the B2A, because they have to meet the architectural requirements, the buffering, the landscape, the signage, and so there'll be site plan
Did you put
review.
in like a setback then? That you
Of-
set, how would it be put in there?
What, the access?
If you had an access road on your property, you had to set it aside, would that be
Uh-huh.
put in a?
Yeah, that would be part of, and then, part of the requirement before you could start developing that property.
It'd be similar to a setback or building height.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or an easement.
Yeah,
Okay?
Just remember that they're 1 acre lots in the BSD, so a 17 acre lot could have, 17 separate lots in the subdivision.
Well,
So you're gonna see subdivisions
that
coming.
17 acre, actually, the B2A has no minimum lot size.
Well, B2A doesn't, yeah.
Yeah. And,
that's
yeah. So, exactly.
What's your thoughts on that, Dave? I like getting, we got 3 planners here. It's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
this
Yeah,
is
right.
really the tricky part. Okay, so we've got a couple of different things going in my view. We're gonna have a plan and we're gonna have zoning, all right? These are 2 separate things. So the zoning is not, so the plan is gonna lay out a general pattern of development. This is what we'd like to see. These are the issues that need to be addressed. These are conceptual locations for roads, and these are policies that should be followed when development is proposed, all right? That's general, and this is your concern, but that's the way it's gotta be. Because we can't write into zoning that thou shalt, that
No,
if
no, no.
you change
I'm
the use,
not
thou shalt
proposing
build
that, Dave,
the
but
road.
Right now, your text amendment, if I pull it out and read it, is, everything is made.
Should.
No,
may.
no, I would love to see should in there. When we pull it out and read it, it's made. And to me, it's a should.
Yeah.
You should look at what's going on
And
around
that's what
you,
we'll
what
have.
fits together.
We'll have
That's my only proposed change.
We'll
I
have
mean, it's that
a
simple.
plan and we'll have zoning. And these are 2 things that I'm hoping are gonna move concurrently. The plan is gonna be conceptual, but the zoning will be fixed. The problem is we're not gonna prescribe road locations in zoning. It's gonna be
Exactly,
part of
the exact spot of the yard.
That's right.
Dave?
So Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but that business service district has a site plan requirement. When
Yes.
someone develops it, they
Right.
have to submit a site plan that shows frontage roads, access
Uh-huh.
roads. At that time, that site plan is reviewed and approved, they would have to, show how they address
Right.
those things.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
person could actually set aside, if that looked like that was the right place to put a road, you could set aside an
Right.
easement through this or something at
Yeah.
that time, right? Yes, that could be
And,
done.
and that would be similar, I mean, because when you look at it right now, it's a cluster of non-residential stuff that is either legal non-conforming or has conditional use permits either issued through the county or Whitefish, one piece of property at a time, piecemeal through the years. And, and this is what we wound up with. And what we're trying to do is move forward and say, okay, this is where we want to be. And yeah, this site plan review for not only the permitted uses, but conditional uses in the SAG 5 zone and in the B2A zone as well. And so we'll be able to say, we can't approve this site plan because you don't have any access easements to the next property. You put that in, everything else is fine. Similarly, we'll get if, a pedestrian bicycle easement, at least from Whitefish's southern boundaries to south some, as these properties are developed or redeveloped.
So on this process, I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. If you schedule this for May, does there have to be a revised staff report?
Yes, there will definitely be a revised staff report.
So they bring in a revised plan, you write a revised staff report.
You can
And you
just,
send it out and you do
Uh-huh.
the same notice as you always do.
correct. Yeah,
Would you have time to do that
yeah,
by May?
no,
The timing wouldn't be a problem.
no.
Okay.
Because obviously, we're not going to get a whole bunch of administrative conditional use permits for short-term rentals.
So that would work.
You're welcome.
Well, I'd say that's what we should do.
Okay, yeah.
would-
I mean, if,
For that?
even if Dave, because if he stalls out, something happens, gets, mired in something and doesn't meet the May deadline, which is April.
You could pull it off,
Then, sorry, it'll be June.
okay.
We'll make it happen.
Because we're not making any decisions, it's not like you're continuing or scheduling a hearing to a date certain here.
Right.
No,
So I feel confident that Dave will submit it in time before the May deadline, which I don't know what it is, quite frankly. I can let him know before he leaves, I think. And if, something happens, it'll be June. And we'll let you know next month.
I think it sounds like we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
Well, that's good.
Awesome.
If nobody else has anything they want to say, I guess did you have another comment?
Yeah, is it, because this is so much better, is it too late to ask for the bike trail?
No, it's already in.
We just
It's
discussed
in.
that.
It's in there?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Because
kind
we
of talked about it.
totally forgot. Well, because this is so much better, and then you're just kind of like, oh, wow, look how much smaller it is. Look how condensed.
The bike trail will be right in the middle of the highway.
It's called
Great.
population.
Yeah.
I guess we're
Yeah.
done then. Thank you, guys.